Sumpter. Welcome to the Hastings Business Women's Network interview series, member spotlight session. And you're a dietitian in Port Macquarie, is that correct?
I am.
And in sole practice?
Yes.
Fabulous. So do you work with individuals, or do you work with hospitals or doctors, or how does that whole thing put together in terms of a dietitian in practice?
Currently, I'm just working with individuals, so with GPs in the sense that the GP is a really important person in the chain of events because they need to activate the referral for the client to come and see me. I'm looking at doing some more group-based work down in Laurelton with a GP surgery down there, so some more practical stuff, cooking and things like that.
Oh, great.
Building me a kitchen, which is very exciting. And but mainly the bulk of my work is just individual one-on-one consultations.
Okay, excellent. And do you specialise in a certain area, or are you a dietitian to the stars and do anyone everything?
Pretty much jack of all trades, and have always been in my practice. I've never really sort of specialised in a clinical role or that. I've been a community health dietitian in the past for a big chunk of my career. And so I wouldn't say that I specialise in anything. Obviously, things like weight control, diabetes, cholesterol management are the bulk of my work, so I guess I'm fairly specialised in that area. But other small areas, allergies and intolerances, eating disorders, which are much more specialised, I do a little bit, but not a huge volume.
But that's a growing area, isn't it?
Absolutely.
People seem to have more intolerances to wheat or milk or various things. From your work, do you think that's through the type of food we eat or through our mental approach?
Bit of both, I think. I think there's a lot of unqualified people giving dietary advice which perhaps sends people off on a little bit of a tangent. So some of my role is to come back to basics and look at the evidence for whether or not a person has a perceived or an actual intolerance to things, and some people are very happy to establish that they don't in fact have this perceived allergy or intolerance to things, and that it may have been something else. And working with some people just through that whole process and watching them have a different life if they do in fact have very real intolerances and allergies, and finding that their lives change as a result of eating differently.
Okay. And in terms of you've come to Port about 4 years ago, or to the area. So how did you establish yourself? And it's there are a few dietitians around town, so it would be hard to get space and get known. How did you manage to do that?
When we first moved up here, I said to my partner Shannon that I did not want to do anything for at least 12 months other than be a mum. So when the coffers got quite low, I had to look for something. In the meantime, I'd already gone and introduced myself to the dietitians up at the hospital and at the community health service, just to say, hello, here I am, this is who I am and what I've done, and am in regular contact with both those teams of people. In terms of private practice, I was lucky enough to be cleaning houses for earning a little bit of money, and one of my clients had a friend who was a GP who was going on maternity leave, said that there would be a room becoming vacant at that practice, and so I approached the practice principal and got my first opening for a venue, and my business has just gradually, very nicely grown over the last 2.5 years to now where I practice in 4 locations and cover from here to Laurelton.
Wow.
So it's just gradually evolved over time, which has been lovely.
And that comes through reputation and people, word of mouth.
Absolutely, word of mouth, and going around and just bit by bit meeting different doctors and different referral agents and building relationships with those people.
Okay.
It's actually surprised me.
Right.
It's been a really nice journey.
Because a lot of people do come to Port thinking they'll get work the next day.
Yeah, no, it's not the reality.
And what you've said is you've got to be prepared to do what you don't normally do. to get a footing. And
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And how have you found the network? You've been involved with that for a little while?
Yep. The network has provided me with an opportunity to meet other women in business, because I would probably class myself as not a business-minded person, so it's really important for me to surround myself with people who are in the business and know what it's like to be running a sole trading business or other businesses as well. So the network's been really great for me for that. Certainly takes me outside my comfort zone. It's been
But that's another key point when you're a technician, in Gerber's model. When you're a technician, someone who's an expert in your area, you're not necessarily a good business person. You've got to pick up and develop those skills, and surrounding yourself with like-minded people is one way of doing that.
Absolutely. Excellent. Absolutely.
So do you have any tips for other people who might be getting into business or are in business around town or wanting to move into that sphere that you're in? What kind of tips would you have for other business people from what you've learned?
The things that I've learned. Alliances are really important. So building relationships with people you have an alliance with. So whether it's a philosophical sort of agreement, you're both on the same page, those sorts of things I think are really important, because then you can build really strong referral networks. In my business, it's all about referrals. From a business perspective, the Hastings Business Women's Network for women, obviously, I think is
nice plug, thank you.
It's brilliant. Just because it puts you in touch with not just people from your sector, you get experience and opportunity to learn from others in a much broader business sense.
In terms of someone's body, what's your tip there for everyone out there?
I think there's a lot of people walking around hating their bodies, and I think if you can be comfortable inside your own skin, you're going to be more healthy. And I see my role as a dietitian is to try and encourage people to have more acceptance of their body, to eat well, move well. Movement's really important. And to live well and definitely not diet. I pride myself on the fact that I'm an anti-dieting dietitian. So lots of people are kind of disappointed. They want a meal plan and things, and they don't get one. But I practice from a different philosophy, I guess.
Great. So if people want to get in touch with you because they're interested in eating better or having better nutrition or controlling some of those issues such as diabetes or cholesterol or whatever, how do they get in touch with you?
They can access my website, or they can speak with their GP. Many GPs now know who I am and have my contact details.
Right.
And if not, through the Business Women's Network on the website there, or phoning me on my mobile number.
Okay, which will be available through the network.
Absolutely.
Fabulous. Excellent. Well, it's been lovely spending a few minutes with you, Callie.
Thank you.
You've got a lovely little place up here in the Highlands of Lighthouse, and obviously a great practice that you've built over the last few years, and it's good to see you around the network from time to time.
Thank you.
For your time.
Thank you.